So, in case you don't know, I'm just going to tell briefly. That photograph was taken from inside the Four Knocks, which means Cold Hills Passage tomb, uh, where I went. It was the first tomb that I was able to go into without a guide or without having to pay entrance, etc. I didn't have to be on a tour. I just went and got the key. Somebody told me. I met, it's going to sound silly, but I met someone, and I swear to the goddess, I believe it was a fairy. I was walking around at Douth, and finding there's a lot of entryways at Douth. And so I was sort of discovering them one by one. They were all gated off. You can't get in, kind of like at Tara. You can walk around the site, but you can't get into the tombs. So I'm just standing there thinking, gosh, I want to go in. And I had been there for about an hour and suddenly started hearing a little tiny voice. You know how a little tiny, let's say a 2 or 3 year old sounds that they have a very cartoon-like little voice. I started hearing this little voice, and I thought, what in goodness names, who could that be? So obviously there's somebody here with their kids. It took a few more minutes for them to show up, and they came around the corner, and I was standing at one of the entryways, and this beautiful little girl, just a gorgeous, I don't know what to say, classic looking Irish fellow, young guy with 2 kids, flaming red hair, beautiful little family. And he said, well, we were just driving by, and I decided to just pull over. We're on our way some such and such, and I decided to pull over, let the kids get out of the car, and I thought I wanted to just bring them up here and let them walk around a little bit. So, he was giving me a message about his belief system in a sense. We just chatted. A little girl was saying, Daddy, why can't we go in? And so she started talking to me, and I said, yeah, I'm with you. I want to go in. And then she just grabbed onto that thought, and she kept saying, Daddy, the lady has to go in. Daddy, how do we go in? Where's the key? How do we get in? Like that. And so that went on for a few minutes. And he was really sweet and loving with this child. And eventually he looked at me and said, well, did you really want to go in? I said, yeah, I really do want to go in. He said, well, and he told me how to get to the town of Null. He said, find it on the map, go and Google it. There is a passage tomb there, a really nice special one, and you can get the key. You have to go to somebody's house and put a deposit, but just one of the neighbors, so to speak. So anyways, I figured it out, and afterwards I thought, okay, if there's ever such a thing as a fairy, that was what was happening, because those people showed up out of nowhere. I had been there a long time. No one was there. It was a really quiet, beautiful day, and they came and went in kind of a flash, and then they were gone. So it was kind of a little fun story. So there I am in Null. I find my way to Null. I go and I sit down. All the readings come out. When I went in and sat down, I put my blanket down. I had propped the door open because it's so dark in there. And I was, it's not entirely comfortable to be plunged into nearly total darkness. So I propped the door open, and when I sat down, a message came through to throw the bag of runes down on the blanket. After some discussion and resistance on my part, I finally did it. And the moment the stones hit the blanket, the door shut all by itself. So, I had a moment of complete freak out. I steadied myself, and I thought, all right, this is why I'm here. I'm just going to go forward. And it's a good teaching about facing your fears and etc. for me. So when the readings were done, 4 readings came out, plus the runes. I stood up, I gathered up my wits, so to speak, and in that moment, a really strong gust of wind came by and blew the door open, and that's what I saw. It was such a profound moment of understanding for me. So that's why I'm here doing this special solstice reading, because I wanted to try to channel some messages from there for all of us for this impending solstice. Okay, so you know, that all that stuff about when you pass, and people talk about going through a tunnel and walking towards the light and seeing this brilliant light. So that's, I imagine, what happens on the solstice. It fills up the passageway. And there's I believe now, having been through these experiences, there's a very profound energy portal that opens that actually allows souls to transition if they're ready to go. That's what's coming through in the moment. So I'm going to toggle back so you can see me again. So I'm shuffling, and while I'm shuffling, I'm just asking. I'm just trying to open the gate, open the portal, find the key psychically, and ask for those messages to come to us, because we've been traveling together all year as a group of souls, trying to find our destination and working so hard on shift and change. Everybody who's here, everybody who has subscribed to the live stream has had an amazing journey. And I'm not at liberty to share. Maybe over time some of you will feel inspired to share some of that with each other. But I just send my love and compassion and thanks. Spirit says some thank yous coming through for being willing, because it's a big deal, right? All right, hang on. I'm going to toggle back. Spirit says one more time, and move over into my chat stream so I can see who's here. Hey, Lorraine, you got on. Good. Anna, hi, Anna. Yay. Okay, I'm just going to review you guys. Okay, so, yep, Anna, great. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Darn it all. Emerald Orchid. You got the link, but it didn't work. All right, well, yeah, I'll figure it out. So it's good to have a couple of, right, I'm just looking, guys. I guess a couple of sorry, there's a stream coming through. It's interrupting my speech. Sorry, I zoned out for a minute there. Hi, Lorraine. I have, Lorraine's asking me about the light. So I do have a couple of little camp lights here. And I did set late afternoon because there were people who said they couldn't, this would probably be the best time. So I think when it gets really, really dark, it'll be time to stop, probably, but we'll be okay for an hour or so. So I'll tell you what, let's jump into it. It's almost 4 o'clock according to my computer. So there's one card that's come out, and I want to just, hang on, I have to toggle back. This is the cumbersome part of this that I don't entirely enjoy. And again, it's another piece of what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so hang on, you can hear me, I'm moving stuff around on my desk. All right. So I just want to show you something, guys. See that? That's a major arcana. That's the Shaper of Growth. So this card kind of jumped out a few minutes after we started streaming, and I was just shuffling. I believe it's just, what I'm getting is this is an acknowledgement to say, okay, Spirit's here with us, whatever that is, right? People always ask me. I don't know. I don't profess to know. It's just what comes through. Some people call it spirit guides. I chose a word that I hope is universal enough for people to understand the concept. So the guides, if you want to call them that, are here. All right? And very glad that we are talking about the passage tombs because we are approaching the solstice. and I'm getting a message that, yes, it was a leprechaun. Who knows? All right, so I'm going to toggle back. And you know what I'm going to do? Actually, I'm going to just take a moment and plug into the electricity just in case. I don't like doing that because it makes a lot of glare. Since I don't have an official studio, things are a little... There, that's a little better. Okay, that's a little better. All right, so it's time to settle down. I'm going to settle the energy down here, and I'm going to ask you folks to just imagine that we're all together. The Spirit's saying, well, we are, right? So, erasing time and distance, because we do have the capacity energetically to be together. And that's okay. So what's coming through is, and that's part of what we are learning as we go forward in 2018 as a result of all the shift and change. Things have matured is the word that's coming through for each of us as individuals, and that allows us to begin to learn about being together energetically and using that energy. And people have been doing that for eons. So as a group, I've begun to wonder if the people who show up in this channel have known each other before, have been through the passage tombs in different lifetimes. I don't know. Those are all the kinds of things that I ponder, that I don't have any, scientific, if you will, proof, whatever. But I feel it. And so I have begun to ponder that about halfway through the year, because I got so many messages from people who were saying, I watched this video or something about your voice, and I literally felt it in my heart chakra. That was very surprising to me in a certain way, the intensity of that. So I do believe there's some kind of a link. It might just be about our different vibrational set points. Spirit's talking about harmonic resonance. And it's funny, I was just looking at something about that about a week ago. So if you don't know what harmonic resonance is, it's two items. Spirit's talking about bodies. So two bodies. Okay, there's 3 or 4 words coming through. Can vibrate if they have a similar set point. If one begins to vibrate and the other is nearby, that begins to vibrate in the same way. So that's the kind of messaging that's coming through. So there are lots of groups of people, I think, all across the world, and the group of people that's here on this channel with me, one of them. And we are attuning to each other. So I'm going to put the picture back up of the passage show, just as a point of inspiration, Spirit's saying, and I'm going to finish shuffling, and we'll put the cards down. So while I'm doing that, if you would just do me the service, do us the service, I'm going to stream some energy out from my heart center. If you would imagine yourself standing in this place, Spirit's saying, in the passage tomb, and we'll see if we can feel each other, okay? And you should be able to feel it inside your heart center. Sometimes people feel tingling, sometimes they feel warm. Okay, so just for a few minutes, okay? 3 or 4 minutes, we're just going to have quiet. Okay, I'm back. If you have your eyes closed, keep them closed and just take some deep breaths until you feel reawakened. And when you feel ready, gently move your fingers and toes. And Spirit's saying if you can remain in this space, that would be ideal. When you come back to full consciousness, I would love to know if anybody had any experiences, so to speak. Okay? So I'm sitting here in the dark. I'm going to let that go forward for a few minutes, just because we're in this meditative place, okay? So I'm just going to utilize that. And I'd love to hear, I have had a little vision, so to speak, and I'd love to know. Paula, you're here. Yay. Oh, that's awesome. Paula was with me inside the Null Passage tomb. I'm sorry, Paula, I didn't ask your permission before outing you. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, you have no idea. Okay, Munir, hi. I'm going to scroll up the chat and just see who else is here. Okay, I think I've said hello to everybody. Okay. That is fantastic. So while we were doing our little meditation, I did actually have an image that came into my mind. Hi, Wally. Hey, glad you're here. So I had an image that was a little bit, Ingrid, yes, it doesn't matter if you know where you go when you're doing astral travel. It's okay. So while I was imagining us standing as a group in the passage tomb, hi Janice, welcome. I did get a picture in my mind of something that looked like a double helix in a certain way, and it was rotating outward. And so I think part of the message that I'm interpreting from that is that yes, there definitely is some kind of an energy, I'm going to say vortex, for lack of a better word, okay, that actually on the solstice, there's something about that energy set point assisted by the rays of the sun, or maybe coming with the rays of the sun, that take the energy inside the passage tomb. And, okay, so what I'm getting is enliven it. And so it turns like this towards the entryway. There's something about the energy of the souls that have been there waiting for passage. And it may just be that, the light comes and turns the energy on. Things having been dormant is what I'm hearing. Somewhat dormant. Resting. That's the words that's coming through. So, all right, let's see. Hi, Jamie. Glad you're here. All right, so I'm going to turn the light back on. Is everybody ready? And then I'll put the cards out, okay? And we'll just shuffle some more. And feel free to chat with me while I'm shuffling. Hang on, I gotta turn my light on. There we go. All right. I'm just gonna make a little bit of room here, sorry. Okay, so I'm getting some messaging about this card. All right. Oh, and you know what? The other thing is, would you folks confirm for me that when I hold the card up like this, you can see it? It's hard for me to tell from this end. And I know the light is a little bit dim. Okay. It's snowing outside. It's really beautiful. I'm sitting by the front window. I wish you could see it. It's gorgeous. So, Jamie, you had the feeling of vortex too. Tell me some more about that. Well, you could feel the stones under your feet. Oh, gosh, gives me a chill. All right, let's see. Paula, I don't want to put you on the spot, but since you were there with me, What is going on? What did, are you getting anything from that place at this point? Oh, yes, Lorraine, you can see the card. Okay, good, thank you. Where am I? I'm in Vermont. I'm in the U.S. We're having our first snow of the season today. It's coming up from south of here, Boston, and I think maybe Philadelphia and those places that typically get less snow than us. I think they're getting slammed. They're getting 6 or 7 inches. We're supposed to get 1 or 2. So it's just starting to cover the meadow a little bit up there. Card is good. Okay, Janice, you can see. Great. All right, so let's go. Yeah, Lorraine, you're going to get more snow than I am. Lorraine's in Massachusetts. All right, so let's chat about the experience that people had, with your consciousness, if you will, Spirit saying, standing in the passage tomb. There's a desire to bring that energy forward and to just have a chat about what people are experiencing. Stones under your feet. Yep. Okay, it's making me cry. I'm getting a little verklempt, Wally. Ingrid, you visualized overlapping green spirals. Okay. So, what? Part of the reason this is fun for me. Yeah, I'm glad people are gathering here too. I'm working on manifesting, being able to host people here. I'm not ready yet. I don't have enough electricity, etc. But this too shall come. So people did experience themselves there. That's what Spirit was telling me. It's time to go back there and do a reading from there, in a sense, about the solstice, from that place. Okay, green spirals. Ingrid, what were the spirals doing? Can you folks tell me? I'm just really curious. Oh, that is beautiful, Wally. Thank you. So, it's interesting. There were, you can tell from the picture, let me toggle back, that when they opened this place to the public, there are a layer of stones that were put down. Certainly those were not there from 5,000 years ago. The pathway up to the passage tomb is paved. And so, yeah, we walked in and there were all those stones. I was sort of glad they were there, but also a little bit dismayed because it wasn't easy to sit on it and it was really cold. So while we were in there, we did see some things. Who knows what they were? Paula, chime in here, will you? Some orbs of light at certain points. And you know what? It was such a beautiful, intense day. We didn't even really chat about it. We just sort of confirmed for each other that, yeah, I saw that too. Paula, what do you think? I'm really curious to know about your experience on that day because, my travels and my trip were so intense. Things were going so fast that I just didn't have time to be settled in any one place. So I was just zipping around. And Paula and I had this beautiful madcap day where we were, I went and picked her up and we were just zooming in a certain way. Okay, so Ingrid says the spirals were moving over each other, making star-like patterns. So, Ingrid, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do a favor, draw that for me, will you? Even if you don't publish it and send it to me. Lots of vibration coming through your feet. Yeah. All right, so we're there. Okay. That's good. That was the intention, to just gather people and have a discussion from that place. All right. So I'm going to hang on a second. Forgive me because the cumbersomeness of this, having to manage 2 softwares. All right, so there I am. All right, so I'm in the software that's streaming the video. I'm just going to stay right here a little bit. I won't be attending to the chat for a few minutes till the cards come out, okay? So just, a Spirit saying, just hold the energy vibration, and we'll ask for the message to come out. So there's the first card. Right. So Spirit says, yep, this one, the message. All right. You know, isn't it beautiful? That is the shaper of growth. So the message is, yeah, Spirit's here at the Sacred Mother, here with us, to bring us across this journey and shepherd us through. This is the sacred goddess energy that comes through to souls that are coming from that realm, the mystical realm, into this place. And some of you who've had personal readings have seen this card in your reading. It's been showing up off and on in the general monthly readings, okay? So that's beautiful. Major Arcana card right off the top. All right. So yes, we're going through. Spirit's talking about going through the tunnel. I'm going to show you one more time. We are definitely going through on the solstice. Anybody who has had, well, certainly the people who are here today, the folks who have had personal readings, very definitely, and anybody I think that has been following along the channel and intentionally on their own spirit journey, working through this intense year for everybody, me included. My year's been so beautiful, but really intense. So yes, there's an opportunity and the energy will be there. So on that day, you can have a similar type of meditation, even if it only lasts 5 minutes like that one. All right. So here's the card. No surprise to anybody, right? Look at that. Okay, so the thing that Spirit's talking about is the beautiful elk. That is the animal medicine for having stamina for a long journey. And that's what this card's about. You know, and clearly there's the sun having come up and the ocean there, you know, representing having come across, right? Okay. So, jeez. All right, so this is about a revelation. That some knowledge, and that's been coming through me. I've been saying it with a little bit of trepidation because, you know, I'm very humble. How the heck do I know? I just know what comes into me. And then I always have a moment of, I hope it's true. Because I'm saying it with my mouth. And on some level, I have responsibility for that, right? So there we are, coming through the solstice, having come across this really long journey. So if you don't know the story of this card, it's about a soldier. Spirit says that, you know, euphemistically a representation of us soldiering on through our lives, just despite all these incredible difficulties and challenges and doubts and fears, and sometimes real obstacles. So we've been coming through this way for a long, long time. This is about a soldier who lived a extremely long life and many battles. At the end of his lifetime, he was the last survivor of a really epic battle, and then he lived way longer than a natural human life. And at the, well, okay, so I say the word the end, but it's not really technically correct. Eventually, what happened was he just transformed from his form into a new form. And so that's the purpose of this solstice, to help us transform into whatever it is we are meant to meet in our personal destiny, you know, depending on your set point and your destiny. And okay, Spirit's talking about your story. You know what's coming through? And I know little about this factually. It's a word that is meant to convey a certain kind of messaging, Spirit's saying, okay? So what's coming through is your destiny as it's written in the Akashic records. So, wow. All right. So I interpret that to mean as, okay, Spirit's also saying star destiny, right? We have traveled a long distance to be here as spirit beings, as individuals, in our human life, and certainly in our spirit life, traveling really far and shape-shifting back and forth across the realms, and sometimes even standing in our own lives. All of a sudden we turn ourselves inside out and we leave a life behind and we just go in a different direction. So in all those ways, all those things that we've been experiencing, including the transformation in our spirit beings and becoming aware, that's been coming out a lot lately, actually even in the personal readings, that we are going to be aware. The Spirit's saying hyper aware. We're coming into a type of awareness, and that's part of what's being revealed to us. You're going to actually have the experience of walking through your human existence, really understanding. Okay, Spirit's telling me it's not about understanding, it's about experiencing. Really experiencing your dual nature. So here we have these human bodies, right? They shift and change, they grow old. We get done using them and we pass on. There's another part of our nature, as we all know, that is eternal. And that part of us that takes a back seat in our brain's awareness, that is going to come forward. That's part of what's going to start happening in 2018. And I think we're coming into a place, Spirit's talking about Pluto now and Aquarius. All right, so I believe, if anybody's out there and can look this up, let us know. I believe that when Pluto leaves Capricorn, it moves into Aquarius. Yeah, Spirit's saying yes. And this whole notion of the age of Aquarius, when all kinds of things are meant to happen and unfold in terms of our enlightenment, is the word we would use for that. So this next year is the beginning of the shift and change from destruction phase of Pluto. Not that everything's going to be perfect in a day. It certainly will not. But things are going to shift toward the spiral that is going to draw us in that direction. That's part of what that visualization that some of us got was about. All right. So in that place, as we move, here's the next card. I tried to shuffle, Spirit told me stop. And that's what we're talking about. All right. So look at that. That's a prophecy. The augury of art. I'm trying to figure out if I hold it closer to the camera, if you can see it better or not. All right. So again, beautiful feminine energy and another notation of water. Isn't that interesting? Clearly, the sacred cauldron out of which we will develop the ability to manifest that which we desire. And because it's floating in this body of water, it has everything to do with all the things that water signify. It's about, it's funny, the words that are coming through actually are trust and grace, love, the abundance that energy brings. And that spiral and those things that some of us are feeling when we did this meditation about the passage tone, that's the beginning of our understanding, because most of us will remain here having gone through this portal at the solstice. And so the energy that we experience in these days, and on that day, if you can imagine yourself in this place, or whatever serves you, that's what Spirit's saying, there is going to be an experience, I believe, and it may unfold over a number of days. It may begin to unfold slowly for you in 2018, but something very definitely is being revealed. Okay, so we've had the revelation of knowledge, the shaper of growth on the top, and now a prophecy about the art of manifesting, of bringing forward this type of life and love energy in order to build the world we want. You see the shining city in the background? There's a little bit of glare coming off the light now. Okay, so this is the first card on what would be the bottom row of the human walk, a prophecy about how we go forward. That's really beautiful, right? And so the first step in going forward is this, of course, and again, no surprise, look at that. So, when we go through this soul journey, which clearly is happening, because Spirit's telling me to just show you, look, here's the very next card, you guys. Look at that. Oops. That is the soul going on its journey. And there we are. Another depiction, Spirit says, right? Just to help us understand. This is the experience of the portal. I'm going to turn this a little bit, see if that helps a little bit. All right, so Spirit got ahead of me. Here we are. All right, here's us underneath the Sacred Mother who shepherds us across. And there we are in our human existence, making this shift and this change in this journey so that things can be revealed to us. All right. And then the prophecy about humanity, about our human existence. And I personally believe, my set point tells me, this has everything to do with the return of the sacred feminine and the rebalancing. Spirit saying the repowering. And hey, look what's going on in the news, right? That stuff it's not over. It's going to take a long time. But the acknowledgement is key. And so there we are. There's the sacred feminine. With this prophecy about new things going forward, what is going to be able to manifest with our energy in this way. Okay, so that's step number one. And then, obviously, because we're talking about the solstice and we're talking about the passage tomb, can you see that? That's the liberator of devotion, actually. And that's what happens when you have a passage tomb. Okay, it's funny, Spirit saying existence. And I think meaning, when our souls connect in this way and we allow ourselves to be carried across the portal and understand ourselves, those of us that are women, but understand what it is to have passage in this way. And so we have the opportunity, because we're here and we're having a life and we're not in transition in that way. Now these things can be revealed to us, and that's what the prophecy is about. What is going to happen when we go through the portal? And I've been talking about it, so Spirit's just confirming, all right? And there we go. That's the last card on the human phase of this journey. Clearly, for me, it's all confirmation right there. That's better. All right, the soul rising up from the physical form and literally going through a portal out into the universe. And you know what? It's hard to see. Let me see if I can turn the card. All right, you see above the head, there's the triple spiral. And then above that, there's the sacred bowl. Spirit's telling me to hold this up for you. Just so that you can understand, Spirit says, the full nature of this journey. That's what the prophecy is about. And, all that stuff that was chattering through about our ability to understand our spiritual set point. All right. So, I do think if you have the capacity to have some time, understand that this is available to you on these days of the solstice. And, we're walking in that direction right now. So we've had two depictions of humanity slumbering. It's a metaphor, right? And then at some point, the soul begins to rise up, become visible, go through a portal, have its own adventure toward the sacred bowl. And in so doing, turning the sacred spiral. And what Spirit's talking about is not your life, human destiny. And spirit destiny, soul destiny. So those of us that are here, the message that's been coming through is about our destiny, our willingness and desire to have come here at this time in order to have this experience, in order to bring destiny forward. So I find it very inspiring. So many people that I've met as a result of this YouTube journey. It's really beautiful. So we have the sacred vessel, the augury of art, the liberator. Okay? And then the soul. And we've seen two depictions of that. Here, this card that indicates us, our individual being, these things being revealed to us because we're literally going on this soul journey. So Spirit's talking about the initiation of that. It's interesting. And that card that kept coming out during the year about initiation and being blindfolded and going forward in the dark blindfolded with blind trust and all of that. There's some messaging coming through about that. And Spirit saying this is part of what was being talked about. Initiating your own soul journey and being willing to be in that place and travel out toward this. Okay, so here's the other message. It keeps popping through that's interrupting my train of thought. All right, there's the sacred cauldron. There's the sacred cauldron. Can you see it? I hope so. All right. And here's what's next. All right. So those are the human realm cards. All right. Here's the bridge card to the spirit realm. And again, no surprise. But look, this card is another major arcana. That is a real artifact. It was found in a bog in Denmark. That's the triple goddess. That's the renewer. And it's not just the renewer, it's about healing. It's the renewer of devotion. So again, coming closer, going on this journey in order to renew our devotion to our task that was chosen when we came here, and to that part of us that now awakens through this revelation in this moment that was destiny. I'm getting choked up. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so let's find out where this journey takes us. Clearly, so Spirit's talking about the depth of our journey through the passage tomb. And those of you that were really feeling yourself there and seeing some things like I saw, energy, sort of a helix is the word that's coming. It's not exactly right. And that was rotating and moving toward the opening of the passage tomb. And so Spirit's saying, on the soul journey, it is about healing. It's about going deep into the sacred knowledge that exists about all of creation, and certainly about your own personal experience and destiny in these days. And so those are elderflowers that the vessel is sitting upon. All right. Our devotion to our pathway and to our sacred understanding, our knowledge of ourselves, and ourselves as a soul entity, a spirit entity, will be renewed, coming through. That's what's being revealed, I believe. So let me toggle back for a second. I'm going to take a little pause, and I want to just check in with the chat and see if there's any questions coming through or any things that you guys are sharing with me, okay? Hey, Rob. Great to see you. Glad you're here, Rob. Rob is saying feelings of a soul spirit. Very active. Moving towards the portal, yeah. Okay, Shannon, I'm just reading your message. Hang on a sec. And your crown chakra's opening. That is awesome. Okay, Ingrid, I'm reading your message about your painting. So, if anybody doesn't know, I'm giving a shout out to Ingrid. She is a profound artist. Her artwork blows me away. She shared some of it with me, and she's given me permission to use some of her paintings. And I think I'm going to probably do that for the January readings. That's just a teaser ad. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but they're gorgeous. All right, so here we are moving into this healing and coming through. That's part of the verbiage, if you will, that's in sort of revolving around in my head, is coming through. All right, so I'm gonna toggle back. Hang on a second. All right, because I want us to be together visually. I'm going to shuffle a little bit more, and we'll see what other cards come out. All right. Take a moment and ask whatever question you have about this soul journey. All right? If you want to type it on the chat, that's great. Just, I'm going to open my channel and take up some of your energy, if I can, as I do this final shuffle. There's a card coming out already. Look, guys. Wait till you see, of course. Look. That's the transition. That's standing on the other side, having come through. So, the augury of art, the first card on the human realm. All right. And I want to show you because this is how it stacks up on the table. I didn't even have time. Spirit's jumping ahead of us. There we go. The sacred cauldron. Twice. All right. One about prophecy, about human destiny. All right. About our energy set point and what we can create. And then right above it, this beautiful sacred vessel of healing. Deep across the mystical realm. Okay. So what Spirit's telling me in this moment is that is the portal that we're going through. Part of the point of this is not just about what is going to be revealed to us, it's that it is going to be, in and of itself, a healing. Because as we begin to remember ourselves spiritually, that is going to, okay. So Spirit's saying, that energy, that helix that we were seeing, those things we were feeling, your feet on the floor, your feet on the stones, understanding yourself in this place, in this way, that energy of that transition is going to be a healing. That which is revealed to us will heal us. And I guess it's obvious in a certain way, isn't it? So there you go. Look, having come through the portal on the solstice, that's the sacred passage tomb at Newgrange, in case you don't know. So there we are standing on the other side. Okay? That's the warrior of art. I'm just trying to play with the light a little bit. So what I love about this card is this beautiful energy, beautiful male energy, intention, impetus, shift, change, and the watery, beautiful flow of sacred feminine that brings us to and through. And so we've seen that in a couple different ways. But here in this first card, in the center that indicated us, it's male energy, right? Humanity is ready for change. We want these things that are being revealed to us. And having come through in this very mystical feminine way that is about portals and going through a portal. So this, and this is about energy set point, right? Having been through a journey. And all the cards that are about the portal and going through the portal, that's all female energy. And then emerging out the other side. All right, back into the male, so to speak, Spirit says, energy set point. So a warrior of art. Sometimes things come through and I laugh because the way Spirit says it's really kind of funny. So, and I think what I get is, the slang gets used so people understand it. And because there is an idea, not an idea, there's a desire for us to sort of laugh and have fun and be joyful. So sometimes the messages come through to me in ways that just make me laugh. So what Spirit's saying is, that commercial, it has to do with a phone company. I can't remember which one. Can you hear me now? That's what Spirit's saying. How silly is that? But there we are, right? There's the prophecy, and there's the outcome. Having come through the portal for a healing so that we can know ourselves again and do battle, in a sense, be a sacred warrior in this way. No shoes, no weapons, no protection, Spirit's saying. Just this beautiful purity, of intention, having come through this place. So if for anybody doesn't know about Newgrange, go and Google it and check it out. There are all kinds of, thousands of videos online, etc. There's a little 13-minute video that I made when I was on my way home on the plane about some of these passage tombs. So I'm getting a little nudge to say you can go and look at that because that'll give you, in a snapshot, a view of some of these places. So there we are in our spirit self, having made a transition. In our soul destiny, in our spiritual destiny, we move forward physically and in this way, mentally, emotionally, psychologically. But this is a moment that has been waiting to come for many, 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 many eons, is what's coming through to me. All right. So Spirit's saying, imagine the experience of a soul who comes through. Okay, I'm going to add being asked to toggle back again. Hang on. Who comes through, who comes to rest in this place in order to have contemplation is the word that's coming through, and to just rest in a place that represents the place from which you came. That's what Spirit's talking about. And having come through on this day of the solstice, when this energy vortex, or whatever word you want to put on it, this is the kind of thing you're going to experience when you pop out the other side. And so, on a spiritual basis, yes, you go through to the light, returning to the energy source from which we arose. That's actually what's coming through about this moment of the solstice, right? So, from a soul perspective, there we are, returning to the source of the energy from which we came. On a human realm, this is how it's going to feel. This is how it's going to look. All of this purity of thought and intention, an enormous amount of joy. I don't know if you can tell. He's got some energy in his hands that sort of bubbles up from within him. It is, Spirit's talking about magnetics. That which will be retuned inside your being, you carry that. And that's why we see that little bit of what looks like magic. One of the words that we would use is magic. He's got magic in his hands. So, that energy that we were feeling while we were meditating together, just centering our energy, that is the energy pathway on which I travel and, do things like distance healing and have astral travel, etc. I think part of what's going to be revealed is that part of us. Some people feel that, some people can access that experience, and some cannot. And I think there is coming a time, because of this message about energy and returning to the source and all the words that are coming through me, right? All the different words. So Spirit's saying being chosen in order to help us have, what I'm getting is the rise of this concept in our intellect so that we can then have a deeper understanding, right? So you guys know, there's intellect, and then there's true understanding that comes on an energy pathway, so to speak. So there's the next card. Of course, the mover of energy. So, what's happening as this message evolves, I hope it's really obvious to you guys and girls. Another major arcana card. It is the rise and the balancing of the sacred male and female that we see accompanying each other in this reading. That is what gives rise to the energy, the movement of energy, the shift and change. And, this has come out in some of the monthly readings, but not all of them. So this beautiful goddess, of course, major arcana, this would be the Chariot card. Here we have the Sacred Mother, beautiful, overlooking, accompanying us, guiding our growth and our shift and change. And so Spirit's saying that's why this came out in the very center, on the very top. That's what that theme is about, okay? And there she is now, in this place. And it is the shift, that's a little better. That is the shift in our energy. That is what moves us. It's that type of movement that Spirit is talking about through the traditional tarot with the tarot card, the Chariot card. Yes, you have choices. Yes, you may have to decide which way you're going, all that kind of stuff. But really the message is, it is the energy that creates the power to move forward. Right? It's not about, you have horses and those are all allegory, Spirit saying. It's the activation is the power within you, like we see here. So male and female energy being transformed and being able to go forward. And I love that it's the intention that comes through the passage tone. in this way, and then that which moves forward is the complement, in a sense. That's really beautiful. All right, so let me see what is on the next piece of message that hasn't come out yet. I'm letting it dribble out. I'm going to switch back. So you're going to see the picture of the passage tune while I shuffle, and I'm going to look at the chat, okay, a little bit, just to catch up with you folks while I shuffle. Okay. Hey, Suze, welcome. 21st of December is the most important day for Newgrange, says Paula. Paula, tell us a little more about that. What do you know about that? Thank you, Wally. I'm reading your message. Yes, it is time to be joyful. Hi, Evie. Welcome. Ingrid's feeling a little heaviness. You know, I think we're going to feel all kinds of sensations. Yeah, I'm eager to see how the readings are going to change going forward in January. I'm very eager to see. What I really want to do is I want to wait till after the solstice to do them, but then I'm going to be insanely pressed for time because it's hard to get them out. That many readings in such a few amount of days. And then I worry about people being frustrated and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens. Okay, Shannon, you are seeing fire in front of the elk. Yeah. It's a depiction of the sun, but absolutely. It's just really intense. It's that much intensity of energy. Okay, Spirit's talking about, yes, the sun, obviously, it's a ball of fire, right? It's gas and energy and hydrogen and all the things that make it up. It's energy source. And there's something about the energy, for us in this galaxy, right? In our little grouping of planets, Spirit says. All right, let's see. I'm sorry. I'm doing triple tasking at the moment. So yeah, Paula, there's a lottery, right? There's only a handful of people allowed to go into Newgrange on the day of the solstice. Rob, I agree with you about the ability to feel the rise of the feminine energy. Hey, Mark, how are you? Glad you're here. Yay. All right, hang on. I'm just waiting for the next card to come out. All right. So, Paula, what goes on in the local community around the days of the solstice? Is there a lot of, whoops, cards are jumping out and falling on the floor, you guys. Is there a lot of activity going on? I've been curious to know what happens, or is it so commonplace now that not much attention given to it? Yeah. Shannon, I'm reading your comment. Tara's very popular, Paula. No surprise, huh? Must be a lot of people up there. Okay. So, you know what? I'm going to toggle back because the next two cards are out. We've seen these a lot in the last couple of months. All right. I'm sorry because I can tell that I look like I'm sitting plunged in darkness, and I'm really not. There's a light on the desk here, but it is dark. Okay, there you go. That's the second movement, Spirit says, right? As we move forward, having come through the passage tone, obviously the purpose is, it's another major arcana card, to perfect our energy. And that's the type of bowl that are placed in those altars. In the tombs that I was in, they aren't there anymore. They've been taken out. Some for preservation's sake, some because they've been looted, some because they're in museums, etc. But there's the bowl. And again, do you see how that's filled with water? and the activation at the root chakra. There's the breastplate signifying having come through a whole year. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to hold it really close to the camera. Do you see the swastikas on that breastplate? Isn't that gorgeous? And there we are. Balanced energy, rooted with our energy and supporting the opening of the crown chakra. Spirit's been talking a lot to me about the pineal gland. Just chattering the last couple of weeks or so. When I go to sleep at night, I just get this really profound push. I experience it as almost like your mother would say, da, 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 da. It's like that, right? Like, make sure all the curtains are when the full moon came, I am to be plunged into darkness so that my pineal gland can do whatever it's meant to do. And I think that has to do with my readings and stuff coming forward in 2018. But there we are, moving our energy forward, having come through the passage tune, all right? We move forward with our energy in order to perfect that which is meant for us so that we are prepared for this movement. And yes, Spirit's talking about the final days, and we know it's going to be years, but the final time of Capricorn, beginning to move into the rebuilding phase and the creative phase. Okay, so that's the other piece of this, Spirit says. Beginning to come into this place, and it's new. That's why it's a prophecy and it's a number 1 card. Okay, so perfecting our energy to prepare us for this new phase of existence. So there are a lot of words coming through about there's a word that's popping through and my tongue won't say it. The best way I can get my brain to connect with that message in the moment is the eons. It's about having to do with Spirit's talking about phases of existence and eons of time. And what I'm getting is I'm switching back to this picture. So I'm getting an image in my head that has to do with the galaxy. And there's talk coming through about the type of travel and the type of energy that allows us to travel between realms. So, okay, Spirit's talking about light years and those kinds of concepts. So we're talking about long stretches of time. The amount of time that it takes for a group of beings, let me toggle back, to shift and change and evolve. And Spirit's talking about Darwin and the theory of evolution also. It's those kind of concepts, okay? We're in a moment that has been prophesied for a long time about this. As a group of beings, as a class of beings, perfecting our energy, having moved through the portal. And the next card's not going to surprise you at all because it's the very next natural transition, Spirit says. Okay, there it is. Look at that. Oops, wrong one. Everything's backwards. Look, of course. What else could it be, right? And it's interesting because the people who have come for personal readings in the last week or two, this card's been showing up a lot. And I think people are just being put on notice in all these ways. Okay, so Spirit's asking me to hold this up. Remember that? See, this revelation, having come across this incredible journey. Eons. Spirit is talking about eons and eons. There's another word trying to come through. My brain just is not able to connect with it. I'm hoping it'll pop through. But, a rebirth. And, these leaves that are fluttering around can indicate a feeling of overwhelm, a feeling of anxiety. It's a lot to come through a portal. But all the sacred wisdom that's available, represented by these different types of energy, right? The fish, Pisces, eagle, is about really long vision, Spirit is saying, right? Eagles can see a little mouse running along the valley floor when they're flying across the mountains and, shoot right down and grab up a meal. Spirit's talking about that kind of shift, that kind of swiftness, that kind of ability for vision. And, obviously, that's a Piscean, returning, another message about returning to the source with all of this accompaniment. Okay, so, sorry, there's three things coming through. There's the elk again, and the owl. Spirit's talking about Athena's owl. So go and Google that. It has to do with, having this bird, this sacred bird, sitting on your shoulder, whispering in your ear. A lot of wisdom. So there's something about our star destiny, apparently. Beings, we're limited. Humans, we are limited. Up until now, we've been limited. But our source and our experience and the place we come from, the place we return to, is not. And so we are experiencing some of the unfolding of the next stage of our destiny as beings, whether human or otherwise. That's what Spirit is saying. All right? So I'm going to put these down. I'm going to let you look at them again for a second. I'm going to toggle back so that I can see the comments on the chat stream, okay? Did I say elf, Shannon? That's funny. All right, Wally, I'm reading your message. Hang on a second. Oh, the tarot card. Yeah, it's interesting you should ask about that. Remind me, okay, Wally? I'm gonna talk about that for a minute because that card, as I've been shuffling, keeps coming to the top. It hasn't popped out, but I keep seeing it. So you're feeling the energy, and I'm glad you're mentioning it. Okay. So Paula, you're saying people go to Tara, they go up and they sit on the hill. And Shannon, I'm reading your comment about the fire. Yeah, it is true. Mark's agreeing with you. Well, fire actually is a form of release. It's changing the energy. It does make things transform. And so that's part of what that intensity, I think, is all about. Okay. So here's the outcome card, you guys. Hang on, I gotta toggle back so I can see my own face, or I feel it's a little bit bizarre for me. There we go. Look, of course, right? There's the Queen of Skill. Okay. Do you see the horses on that dress? I love this card because it is aligned with the movement of energy. And there's the key, right, to a new existence. There we go. So Spirit's talking to me about the different different ways and the different phases we go through as we move our energy. Do you see that popping through in this place here on the earth with more clarity, more intention that is linked to what we would call purity of thought and heart, and this little, bit of magic. It's all backwards for me, sorry. Magic in the hands, all of that, right? For a new life. That's why we're moving this energy, because we are in a new phase of our existence coming across from the mystical realm. So in this card, we see the ravens. We see our rapid progression. I mean, really, whatever it is that's going to happen on that solstice day, it's going to bring us through a moment in time that's all wrapped up in destiny for us as light beings. And you guys know, I'm sure you know this, we are stardust, literally. I'm going to transition back for a second. Hang on. Spirit wants you to see that again. So we are here from another place. That's the word that's trying to pop through that I can't make my tongue grasp it. We are here from another time and from another place. And we come in and out, apparently, of these realms. We travel back and forth, depending on what you believe. Based on the experience that I've had in my life, I think it has to be true. I don't know what else to think about it. I don't want to make pronouncements because far be it from me to say I know, right? I don't. But based on the things that I've seen and the experiences that I've had and what has happened for me as I transition through my own life, I can only imagine that that's how it is. So Spirit's talking about coming across, talking about light years and eons of travel and shift and change and going through these portals. So I think perhaps we are going to have this experience of intellectually engaging with that in a way that hasn't perhaps been possible for us prior to this moment. And maybe it hasn't been possible as a group. So there might be some, let me toggle back, there might be some group consciousness about this time around as we come through. It might be that we're able to, let me see if I can move the screen to get some more light on this, I don't know. It might be, that all of these, Spirit calls them allegories, metaphors, whatever, right? Here we are in this time of, okay, Spirit's talking about destruction and reset. And I'm getting messages about, the universe and beams of light and light years. Oh, that's what it is. All right, so Spirit's talking about this as an allegory, as a metaphor, okay, about what goes on out in the universe as we travel as beings of light, because we're stardust, right? The Big Bang happened, and, the mystical soup, Spirit's calling it, all the things that happened since then, and everything that exists in our realm literally came from that event. And so we have the capacity as energetic beings to travel back and forth. And so just now, in this time, apparently, another phase of being liberated in order to be able to move back and forth and have both a conscious awareness and a physical awareness of that, experience and that truth of who we are. In order for us to bring forward this new phase of growth and development. And basically the whole reading, that's what it's been about, right? Coming through for a healing in these moments on the solstice, whatever it is that humanity as a class of beings is meant to experience. And I'm getting words about group think and collective consciousness, all those things. That's, I think, what is beginning to dawn, if you will, as we go through this experience. All right. So let me show you the picture again of the passage. There's energy coming through from that. Apparently, that's what I keep getting. So let me just put that up there. I'm just going to read. Yeah, Shannon, transmutation. Thank you. That's a good word. I like it. Ingrid says the Norse made a pyre on the solstice to burn worn out things from the previous year. Perfect. Great image. Okay, Rob, I'm reading your message about quantum physics and mathematics. They're stating that we're moving into a female cycle after a long period of male cycle. I would love to know more about that. Also, the time is moving quicker. Changing energy happening after. Yeah, so the universe expands consistently, and it is speeding up, apparently. And it's interesting that you should say that, Rob, because, I spend in my theoretical downtime, I'm kind of an egghead, so I love that stuff. And because I see the connections, I just gravitate towards the science end of the news because I feel like I have an understanding of how that is connected to the spiritual, if you will, the spiritual experiences that we have. So, all right, let's see. Catherine, I'm reading your message that you felt the owl on your shoulder. Yeah. And last night, there's an owl that lives in the forest around here. It came and stood in one of the trees in the meadow last night, and it was just calling out to me. And it was just really beautiful as I was drifting off to sleep. Not that it was calling really to me, but you know what I mean. It was very close to the house. I haven't heard it that close to the house in a while. So, Rob, I'm loving to hear this message about, and Shannon, you're talking about transmutation and um, hands woven together. I don't totally understand that, Shannon. So, elucidate a little more about that. But I've been saying it, I think, much of the year about the rise of the sacred feminine, the return, and the return to balance of the sacred male energy, that we really desperately need both of those things. And so I do believe that that's what's happening. I find it really fascinating that that is coming out of the world of science. Rob, do me a favor. Send me a link sometime and I'll post it on the channel. If you know any, if you've been reading stuff like that and you can find a link to an article, I would be fascinated to read that. So I will, tomorrow when I hope there's light, I'm not sure how long the storm is going to go on, I'm going to take a picture of this reading and I will send everybody an email. Okay, anybody who's on the live stream list, let me know your email. Or if you happened upon this, please send me a message. Click below the video. You'll see the information there about readings and etc. My email's down on the bottom. If you want a picture of the spread, then I need your email, okay? Because I probably will not post this as a public video. It's way too long and it's a little funky-do, if you know what I mean. So, Evie V, hi, welcome. All right, I'm just still scrolling through your messages, gang. I hope I haven't missed a shout out to anyone. I just have to scroll through one by one, so it takes a moment. So, is there any, okay, thanks, Rob. I'm seeing your message. I'm wondering if anyone out there has any vision or energy experience or something that you want to share with the group, anything that came through to you on an intuitive basis. I think all of that is information for us. Or if you have any questions, we just have a few minutes left, and then I'm going to have to scoot, and I know you probably are busy too, wherever you guys are. Go ahead and put that stuff on the chat. Okay, I'm going to toggle back because I'm being asked. Okay, Shannon, I'm reading your message. I see. Okay, you're saying hands weaving together. Yeah. Joining, right? Joining our energies. Perfect. Yeah, I love that. Okay, Spirit's asking me to show you this card again. And you know what? See that? The soul. Spirit's talking about a blank slate, a new experience. Okay, so there are words coming through about yin and yang, the alpha, the omega, and again, I am seeing, visually what I'm seeing in my head is a point of light. All right. So, the concept of a light year, it keeps coming. And it's about traveling a long distance, but also what I'm getting is something about that shaft of light, and I know it has to do with the solstice, but it's deeper than that, Spirit's saying. Imagine the way your soul travels, as if it was a beam of light out in the universe. That's the energy that we have available to us now, and that's what this kind of travel's about. Turning the spiral of our existence and our destiny as star travelers, in a sense. It's really beautiful. So I'm looking forward to going through the portal. Without a doubt. And I'm going to take some days and I'm just really going to have downtime. I hope you guys can do that too. Because when this shaft of light comes, You know what? There it is. Sorry, Spirit. It took me a minute. All right, so when this comes, on the days surrounding the solstice, whatever this light year or beam of energy or beam of light that comes from far across the universe, apparently, whatever that's all about when it comes on the solstice, that's why there's all this messaging about the transition and the star seeds and all of that. So whatever this is, it's coming from deep out in the universe, apparently. And I'm shuffling through the deck right now to pull out the Tower card. All right, hang on. It'll take me a minute. All right, let's see. Okay, so there's another card coming out that actually also has been rising to the top. I'll show you in just a sec. Let me just shuffle through quick. These cards are so giant, it takes a little bit of time because handling them is not quick, I guess is the word. At least for me, because my hands are short and stubby. Where is that card? There it is. Okay. Interesting, Wally. Thank you for your question, because here's the last part of the message, I guess. All right, let me make sure I'm toggled in the right way. Here we go. All right, there's the Tower card, or what would be aligned with the Tower card. That's a major arcana, okay? It's the changer of will. So in Soul Tarot, again, it's beautiful male energy. The power and the impetus for change, right at the center of our beings, in a moment. And you know what, Wally? There's that lightning bolt, that beam of energy. There it is, all in a moment. And the spiral right at the top, shift and change and growth. It's about casting off that which no longer serves us through changing our will. So in Soul Tarot, it's not about, something horrible is going to happen, your life is going to crash to the ground and some tragedy. It's about changing our will by changing our energy set point. And I love that this is here. Oh, sorry, backwards. I love that that is there, given everything that was just coming through. So here's the other thing that comes right behind it, Spirit says. It's interesting, because both of these kept coming to the top of the deck. Look. And this was, when I found this card in the deck, this came out right with it. Okay? Another major arcana. The balancer of energy. Look at that. Beautiful. Shift and change. This notion of standing in the universe with all the energy, all the beams of light, all the stars, just standing in that place. And Spirit says, standing as you are. And one of the things I love about this card too is, you see how it looks like there's a portal in that being, or that being has been, it's all the way from the throat chakra, actually, all the way down to the root chakra, opened up and restitched and resewn. Beautiful. And, apparently looks as if it's sacred female energy. Really, really, really beautiful. Transition and change toward balance and the ability to stand in your place while the energy moves you and swirls around you and reach your destiny. That's what's coming through about this. All right, so I'm going to toggle over from this screen out of my software, my streaming studio, so I can look at the chat. So you're welcome, Wally. Hi, Celia. Nice to see you. Hey, Donald. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you've been following along. It took you a while to find the chat. As you guys who've been with me know, this whole thing is an adventure, right? I don't know how to do any of this. I'm learning as I go. So I've had to sort of let go of a piece of my need for perfection as a Virgo, and I let go of my pride and all that baloney to just be present. And so it's been a teaching to me. I've really been enjoying that piece of it. It's like, just let it go. Just show up. That's all you have to do. The rest of it will sort itself out. And if there's people who don't have patience with you, okay, that's fine. That's fine too. Hey, Paul, I'm reading your message about Galactic Cup. I know, it's good to see you again, too. I was thinking about you over the last couple days, and I thought I gotta send her an email, see how she's doing, but you know how it is. You know what, Paula? Forgive me on the chat. I'm asking you this, or during the live stream. Please send me an email and let me know how things evolved, if you know what I'm talking about. I really want to know how you're doing. All right, let's see. Okay, Rob, I'd love to hear more about that. Okay, there's somebody, Ashiona Apple. Hi, welcome, glad you're here. Let's see, who else is here? All right, guys, you know what? It's 5:21. I'm feeling as though the energy is sort of doing this. Things are starting to slow down. The stream coming through to me is slowing down. So I think I'm going to sign off. I'm going to give it just another moment or two. If you have any other questions or messages, post them up and I'll take a look. All right. So I'm really just, I will be with all of you in spirit on the day of the solstice. What have I got in my hand? This, Spirit says. So Wally, thanks for bringing this forward. Yeah, Paula, I bet you have been busy. This is really, it's very challenging for me because if I'm looking at the chat, then I cannot see the stream, the video stream. It's just an altered experience. Someday I'll figure out how to be able to see both at once. There you go. Maybe, Spirit says someday I'll have my own TV channel. I don't know about that, but hopefully I'll have maybe a helper to produce the video and so I can just do the show, so to speak. Spirit's laughing at me. All right. So, gang, I'm going to leave you with that notion, I guess. Spirit's talking about, using the energy to think big and manifest and dream. That's why that little message is coming through, I guess, for me. So I'm going to transition back to that beautiful photo and leave you with that visual image is what Spirit wants me to do while I sort of wind up and say goodbye. Yeah, Ingrid, a lot of these cards are familiar, aren't they? Thank you, Ollie. Catherine, thank you so much. So, gang, wherever you are, have a wonderful solstice. Have a beautiful holiday season. I hope everybody can just, each of us, I guess my wish for each of us is to just sort of relax into the moment and be as fully in your energy set point as you can while we go into the solstice. And, feel free. Spirit says, we did that little mini meditation together for a reason. You can take yourself to that place on the solstice, and we'll be there. So if you want to take a few minutes on the solstice, maybe in the same moments, so, depending on where you are, the sun comes up at different hours, so we don't have any control of that. But certainly we can take a moment, maybe in this time frame, if you can, or at some point during the day, go to, okay, Spirit's calling it the temple now, but go to the passage tomb visually in your head and spend some time there. And maybe there will be some messaging. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe we'll check in on the next live stream. Thanks so much, everybody. I really appreciate your being here, and I appreciate your patience with all of the tech challenges here in this moment of Mercury retrograde. So I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Have a wonderful holiday season and really beautiful solstice. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much. I'm signing off.